Alright, this is Andy here. I'm going to show you about some of the things I do to try to make some picks, some daily fantasy football picks for the week of 14. And I look at, to start out here with showing you, you can discover this information on a few different websites, of course, but this makes it easier to view everything on this particular site, Draft Dashboard, showing that this is actually the highest implied total team scoring for the week, 48.5. Chiefs favored by 4 points. So we're looking at a close game with clear skies, and we'll have all the elements in position here to take advantage of a high-scoring game. And in particular, this is on the Raiders roster to highlight. As we can see here, we can even look at injuries, a depth chart, and everything here. So this will keep you updated there going forward, and of course leading up to game time. And just looking to see who's out, and O indicating, of course, out. Q questionable, and so forth. So you want to take these into consideration. I'm going to go ahead and watch my players that I want from this game, which are Crabtree, which I wasn't considering earlier, but now that I see he's in the highest implied point total, it appears, of any team. You can confirm that on Roto Grinders or a site like that. And Amari, no, not Amari. I'm going to take Crabtree. Amari, you don't know what to expect out of him, obviously. So you want to try to prioritize and fit these guys and stack them, especially in your tournaments, Carr and Crabtree. Reason probably being is that a lot of people are not looking at or taking them as much as they were, like compared to last year. So the sleeper picks kind of come into play here, as I believe more people will take and look into the Chiefs side of matters where Smith is hot, and obviously Tyreek Hill, and even Kelsey. And then you could even look at a third option, obviously, on this team right now with Marshawn Lynch. So he's doing well right now. And so you can also, on this particular format, go ahead and look at any injuries that are affecting, of course, the Raiders, as Cordell Patterson's questionable. So this, of course, you can use any week, but I'm just highlighting it for week 14, of course. And the depth chart to show you the same, outlining this information as Seth Roberts is a good-looking flex pickup. I'm highlighting FanDuel because that's just what I'm shooting this video about today. And then we can, of course, go over to the Kansas City side, the Chiefs. See, we got all the games. And we're looking at, as I said, Kelsey, Hill, Smith, and Hunt as a high-risk option. Maybe a flex, something if his salary, let's see what it is, $7,200. Seems like it's gotten lower than it was, obviously, in previous weeks, so you could take a flyer in a deep tournament. So there you go. There's some options. Even Albert Wilson, he caught a touchdown pass last week, right? So if the team really does use and take advantage of some of the injuries, in particular on this defense, such as these two shown, or at least one of the defensive backs shown right here, we could back that up and show to the Raiders. Well, I'll do that some other time myself, but to show that the Raiders have a weak secondary, and we can verify that information there, we can just look over to this particular feature right here, the top players this week. So we'll give that bit of time to load. Even as it says here, these are the bets, the odds of the draft. The game for the week on each game. So as we can see here, we can line them up in terms of best and worst matchup. So this information is available here, of course. I'm just waiting for it to finish loading. As we'll see, what's the best matchup versus that position. So if the Raiders are the worst or 32nd rank, defense versus the pass, or more precisely, against the wide receiver position, we'll be able to see that right here. So, and we could actually put it in position in terms of position, but right now I'm just putting it in terms of any players that are able to play on FanDuel. So these are the options that have the worst matchups of the week. These players here, and we'll just reorder this to show you the best matchups of the week. Very important, of course, in fantasy weekly matchups. We see the Lions, and as I suspected here, well, no. On the Chiefs side, they're worse on defense in the defensive backfield, covering wide receivers, even than the Raiders. So, but as I was saying, but you have that great sleeper option to take advantage of Crabtree, and if you want to take a chance on Roberts or even Cooper, whose health status is not looking good right now, as we can see right here in the concussion protocol, right? So there's a lot of information here. I've covered it in previous videos. You can look back to some of those other ones and see what's going on with this, all right, my friends? So I just wanted to show you there to help you with your daily fantasy football, leagues and so forth, and use this information in any league. I mean, fantasy season long, and whatever will help you to get that slight edge. I know a lot of people are struggling this year because of all the different players that were just duds and so forth, like that just didn't pull through and have that great of a year. So, want to make sure you knew about these options. When it comes to something like that, you just got to calculate and go against risk. If you're just trying to win a matchup with somebody in a game-by-game basis in a season-long league, you want to eliminate as much risk as possible. So, in terms of evaluating that, as I've shown before in other videos, we're looking at fantasy studs. But there's a even more precise way, because the studs here doesn't cover players that haven't been, as I mentioned in the previous video, Josh Gordon is on this low-risk valued player's risk as a stud. That doesn't mean necessarily that he's, a stud and consistent player, because he's only obviously played one game. So in more effective terms of looking at that and eliminating your risks, I'll just have you click on the link at this video, download the free report so you can find out exactly how to go do that. Just a few steps in that process so that you can find and do your own calculations and metrics and eliminate your risk for the week, whether it's season long or daily style, tournament or cash games. All right, so I want to lead you off with that instruction for the day, and have a great day.